For hell's sakes, grow up.
Hundreds of people protesting against the proposed Stratos project backed by TV personality and investor Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank and by the Military Installation Development Authority, or MIDA.
We're here because we don't want a data center here.
Why not?
We care about the environment, and everything is already so messed up that putting this here is just going to do more damage to what little water we have here.
The Box Elder County Commissioners, Lee Perry, Tyler Vincent, and Boyd Bingham, sat down to applause, which quickly turned to boos and chants of shame when they announced there would not be public comment.
From now on, I will tell you, you continue. I have law enforcement here who will remove you from the meeting.
After voting to move forward with the project,
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
I questioned the commission.
Natalie Waters, KUTV. First question, for the layperson out there, can you explain exactly what happened here today with the two resolutions that were approved?
Basically, what the two resolutions we did today is we have private property and we have no zoning laws in our state. The first resolution was putting some guidelines, some guardrails in place to protect the citizens of the people of Box Elder County. The second resolution is that we are accepting the fact that we're allowing MIDA to come in and basically run an operation within Box Elder County.
Experts told commissioners water at the site is too salty for human consumption, and it would be powered by a natural gas line in that area. They also said MIDA would have to comply with air quality requirements.
There was massive opposition out there. We all saw and heard it.
I asked what commissioners would say to the people upset by this decision.
Yes, there's going to be some in our community that were not happy with the decision we made today, but there are also members of our community that are going to be very pleased by the decision we made today.
The Stratos project in Box Elder County became a national, even international story. Some think the data centers planned here in Millard County have barely registered.
Box Elder had a very famous name backing the project.
Amanda Fahey of Fillmore thinks celebrity drove the Stratos story and galvanized the backlash, and absent celebrity here.
We know about it just from newspaper announcements and being able to attend a meeting Tuesday mornings.
Is it frustrating to you that there isn't more attention being paid to Millard County?
Absolutely. It feels that there's just a few of us that are screaming into the void.
Concerns familiar: water, power, air quality impacts, and in Millard, no environmental studies. Has this been transparent enough?
8 public hearings? I don't know, you tell me.
Commissioner Bill Wright and his colleagues approved the data centers. One could have more than 30 buildings.
I don't care whether they come or not.
Really?
I'm not pushing data centers. The reason they're here is they have a property right and they get to exercise that property right.
The Jewel and Creekstone data center projects here in Millard County could spend tens of billions of dollars over the next couple of decades. In Millard County, Brian Malahy, KUTV 2 News.
Hello. It's off to work for bus driver Corey Clark. But for her, getting these kids to and from school is more than driving a big yellow bus.
If I can change one kid's life by changing it from a bad day to a good day, that's awesome.
The Alpine School District has a few safety practices that they showed us. First, they emphasized to me that training and even retraining is a big priority. Second, they use a tag system that allows them to track what stops kindergartners get on and off at.
Oh yeah, because I think you're that awesome.
They also say there's a lot of problem solving as they manage 18,000 bus riding students every day.
Our transportation team is amazing. They manage a very complex network and they're gathering data every day to improve the services that they offer.
Parents mentioned that they would like to see more resources being put towards helping kids get to and from school. What are you guys doing to ensure that?
Well, we are mindful of the resources that we have in Alpine School District. We do the best we can with the limited resources that we have, and we would love more.
The Alpine School District says these cases are rare. As for bus driver Corey, she says it takes a village from other drivers and even parents.
I consider they're my kids. They're my responsibility to get them home safe and to get them to school safely.
I'm here to show that they can't take me down.
Hundreds gathered on the steps of the Utah State Capitol on President's Day to protest President Donald Trump's administration. Samantha Miles with the 5501 movement helped organize this protest, coordinating with other groups across the country. The goal, 50 protests in 50 states, all in one day.
Stand for our mission, which is to uphold the Constitution and to limit executive order overreach.
The protesters I talked to opposed the cracking down on illegal immigration, pardoning of those convicted or charged on January 6th, and cutting of DEI programs. The sight of this protester with an assault rifle and a sidearm grabbed people's attention.
This is the most scared I've ever been in my life. I've been to protests on the Capitol, and about a year ago, I'd never owned a firearm, much less wanted to carry one.
He did not want to be identified, but stood with the 5501 protesters.
My intention is not to cause fear. At the same time, fear is lapping at the borders of this country, and I'm here to defend it.
With many holding signs such as "Not My President's Day" and protesting Elon Musk, while a small group of counter-protesters drove by with Trump flags.
We will continue to be out here.
U.S. and Belgium speed skating teams go blade to ice.
What do you think about the Olympics coming back?
That is pretty awesome.
Olympic medalist Casey Dawson from Park City.
How old were you in 2002?
I was 2 years old.
Has no memory of those games.
But as much as we reflect back,
Fraser Bullock does.
We're excited about the future. A reimagined games.
Key organizer then, Games Committee CEO now. Give me a couple of ideas about what reimagining
Well, could we have a sport event downtown? Could we do Big Air somewhere in downtown Salt Lake City?
At the state capitol, this assurance: no state or local taxpayer funding is required for Utah Olympics 2.0. On the ice, the faster the better. But Olympics organizers pitch later, not sooner. 2034, preferable to 2030.
Any chance you might compete here?
It's a big push.
At nearly 23 now, Casey Dawson thinks maybe.
I mean, it's just really what my path takes me, but it would be amazing to be able to compete here in front of a home crowd.
Across the street from Odyssey House,
I just want to get high more.
A free needle client who uses meth and heroin said she turned in 3 dirty needles for 30 new ones. When you get new bags of needles, are you going to use all those?
No, I usually sell them.
We need to help people heal, not keep them in the same place.
Lawmaker police officer Tyler Clancy with a new plan.
It's very simple. It's going to be a needle exchange. To say if you bring a dirty needle, you can get a clean one in return.
At the Salt Lake Harm Reduction Project.
Hey, there you go.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Which also hands over new needles, opposition to 1 for 1.
We've tried this in other states. It doesn't work. We have evidence to show that it doesn't work and that there's better ways that we can help our community.
Better to give more than to give less syringes.
Better to give what people need.
Heidi, Jamie, Christmas is a special time of the year, but Salt Lake City Mission made it extra special for so many people in our community.
This is my first time ever coming here, but it's definitely a blessing.
On Wednesday, the Salt Lake City Mission and Via Church opened their doors for their annual Greatest Christmas Banquet, where they served nearly 300 meals.
Some people don't have a place to go to Christmas and stuff, and this is their place that they come every year.
Rocky Thomas, now a volunteer with the mission, says she was once a guest at the banquet. She says the love and kindness she received here changed her life.
It's the kindness and the warm feeling that you get from the people that do help you out when somebody is doing that for you when you're at your rock bottom.
Pastor Sean Clay says the mission's work goes beyond Christmas Day. They offer services all year round. He says the need is greater than ever.
The need has changed dramatically. Usually before we've seen a lot of single men or single women coming to our offices for our services, but in the last couple of years it's grown so much to where we're seeing families come through, families with children, small children coming through.
For many like Rocky Thomas, she says it was a love and care beyond the Christmas banquet that touched her heart.
I'm grateful for this place that did so much for me, and they're still doing so much for everybody else still, and now I'm a part of that, so that's exciting to me.
Salt Lake City Mission says their work continues all year round, and if you would like to learn about how you can give back, you can visit our website. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Leslie Duarte, KUTV 2 News.
aggravated child abuse a second-degree felony.
Guilty.
And to count 3, aggravated child abuse a second-degree felony.
Guilty.
Jody Hildebrandt didn't make any extra statements in court, just pleading guilty to 4 of the 6 charges against her and confirming to Judge John Walton that she understood the agreement she was making. Inside the courtroom were Allison Sink-Mars and Aubrey Carter, who said they grew up watching the 8 Passengers channel on YouTube. Sink-Mars says they didn't know how abusive Frankie and Hildebrandt had become.
I think it's really hard to watch them plead guilty because had they not been caught, what would have happened? And where would those kids be now?
Outside the courthouse, Hildebrandt's attorney, Douglas Terry, said she decided to plead guilty before her former business partner, Ruby Frankie, made a deal to help the prosecution.
It is her main concern at this point that these children can heal, both physically and emotionally.
Washington County Attorney Eric Clark explained why they didn't press for her to plead guilty to all 6 felony charges.
If our plea offer had been there is no plea offer, plead straight up to all 6, then the defendant has no incentive to go to trial. And we're not afraid of trials. We don't want to avoid trials. Trials carry some risk in that you don't know what the outcome's going to be.
But because prosecutors decided not to remain neutral during Hildebrandt's parole hearings, the door is open for them to participate in those hearings and recommend that she stay behind bars.
More commonly, the prosecutor's office can submit a letter or submit things in addition to the pre-sentence investigation done by adult probation and parole.
Bryce Canyon last saw a solar eclipse, an annular one, about 11 years ago. That happened at sunset. This would happen just a little after sunrise, but people started pouring into the park here at Bryce Canyon long before the sun came up. Park officials had warned people that if they wanted to park their own cars, they had to show up early. By 6 o'clock, most spaces had filled up at popular viewpoints.
We got up at 3 this morning, so we were hoping to beat the crowds.
By 6:30, the first light of daybreak started to show, with people armed with cameras staking out the best spots along Bryce Canyon's rim.
I had this trip planned before I knew about the eclipse, but then when I found out about it, I thought, wow, that's a bonus. So I brought my camera gear.
Just a little after 9 a.m., the moon began its slow crawl in front of the sun. Anticipation started building. A group of astronomy students from Caltech showed up, volunteering for the Park Service. They were armed with Ritz crackers to show their version of an old eclipse viewing staple, the pinhole camera.
Ritz crackers so happen to come naturally with 7 very nice pinholes. So we bought a ton of Ritz crackers. We've been handing them out.
Just before 10:30, peak annularity, the ring of fire effect. In minutes, it was over, but it left a lasting impression on those who watched it from such an iconic Utah landscape.
We came to Bryce particularly because you could see it from a lot of locations, but Bryce is just absolutely gorgeous to see it next to the hoodoos.
Unlike anything I've seen before, it almost felt like a cloud came over the whole place by the time it hit the center.
Some left the rim viewpoints and watched from trails deep in Bryce Canyon. The park won't know how many people chose to watch from here until they examine visitor numbers in a week or so. We've been spoiled in Utah with the center path of 2 eclipses coming in the past 11 years. That streak runs out for a while. The next one won't make an appearance until 2045. That's when a total eclipse comes across much of the state. In Bryce Canyon National Park, Lincoln Graves, KUTV 2 News.
He's fortunate, it could have been a lot worse.
Salt Lake County Search and Rescue saved a 30-year-old man who had fallen 800 feet down Mount Superior Friday.
We're not entirely sure. So somewhere in the cliffs just above that waterfall or fell through those rocks down to the snow below it. When we showed up, he was below that waterfall and was kind of scooting down on his own.
Search and Rescue says the man was skiing in the backcountry with 2 other friends when he fell.
They were ascending up a gully on the snow. They had taken their skis off and then lost his footing at some point and slipped.
His friends were uninjured. One skied down the mountain, the other was airlifted down as a precautionary measure.
This was relatively new terrain for them, and I think it was just a learning experience for all 3 of them.
Professional snowboarder Holden Samuels tells me when he rides the backcountry, safety is always top of mind.
This late in the season,
pretty much the whole snowpack's melded into one, so you're really just worried about wet slides, meaning you don't want to be out too late in the afternoon when everything warms up.
Search and Rescue says
You just need to have the right skills and knowledge.
Water trickles instead of rushes through Provo Canyon as water supplies continue to dry up.
It's sad to think how it's going to affect the wildlife, the environment, especially now that it's coming into summer because there's a lot of wildfires.
On Wednesday, the water supplier for 2 million central Utah residents issued their first drought resolution.
We have never seen anything as bad as what we're seeing now.
And for, any critics who are like, this might not be enough, is there something else that can be done?
I think there are always more things that can be done. Central Utah this year has significantly increased its investment in our conservation programs. The starting point is with the end user. Central Utah as an organization doesn't use a drop of water. We wholesale water, we sell it to municipalities whose citizens use the water. So where the rubber meets the road are the citizens and how they use the water.
The biggest waste of water, they say, comes down to what's outside your front door.
So the landscape is actually where most water is wasted that we're seeing. So we offer up to $3 a square foot for people that are replacing grass with the WaterWise landscape.
Their goal is to educate and incentivize water users to conserve as much as they can.
It's scary, but it's also a wake-up call that we all need to make changes because I think collectively we can make a big difference. It might not seem like one person can change the whole situation, but if we all work together, we can definitely make a difference.
Preparing for a tragedy isn't easy.
This river right here is running about 4 times faster and has about 4 times more power than it did on this day last year.
But these rescuers are training on how to help someone in an extremely deadly situation.
The reality is that if they have to respond out on a water rescue, they're really coming out on a water recovery.
That underscores just how dangerous it can be to fall in running water. We ran into Trent Simmons and his kids. Trent knows the danger firsthand.
It's scary. I've fallen in waders fishing before, and it's scary when the water, you have no control, and you're just going downstream.
Officials stress personal responsibility and say restricting access isn't feasible or welcome.
Why not restrict access in some way during dangerous times?
Yeah, this is Utah, and it's it's the West. Restricting access to recreational opportunities is not a welcome effort. Usually people want to make their own minds up. But with that freedom comes, that personal accountability.
There's also the push to carefully watch over kids and pets. It's something Trent Simmons had in mind the moment he pulled into the park with his kids.
Say, as soon as we got here today, I said, you guys don't get too close to that stream. It's going pretty fast, huh?
Yeah.
You did say that. Yeah, I did say it as soon as we pulled up. Yep.
Some places in Elko are worse than others, and these insects travel. So what's bad today may not be as bad tomorrow. Right now, we're in front of one house covered with Mormon crickets. Residents around town say they've been dealing with these for weeks, and they are tired of it.
It is a creepy, crawly, nasty, disturbing sight.
It's bugging me. Oh, it's bugging me.
Parts of Elko are covered in swarming and migrating Mormon crickets. They're on the roads.
You can see that they're moving and crawling, and the whole road's crawling, and it just makes your skin crawl. It's just so gross.
And they cover some homes.
When we looked out here, the whole wall was just covered. That really, really, really freaked me out.
Colette Reynolds has been dealing with them for a few days.
It causes depression, anxiety. You feel super violated. When you're inside the house, it sounds like it's raining, because they just randomly let go of wherever they're hanging onto and drop.
These swarms happen a lot, but they get noticed in a populated area, according to Jeff Knight, the Nevada state entomologist.
We've moved more and more into the native habitat where these crickets normally occur.
He says it's not entirely known why they swarm and migrate, and there are limited options for people to keep them at bay.
There is a pesticide route if they want to go that route. There's a route of tolerate it, and they probably will move through.
There are also cricket fences, which they can't climb. Colette is trying to tolerate for now, hoping they disappear quickly.
Some people say they'll move through 3 or 5 days, but for some reason they're really sticking around our house. I'm not sure why.
We can, of course, get Mormon cricket infestations in Utah. We've had bad swarms before, but right now we're seeing most of these swarms in Nevada, Idaho, and parts of southeast Oregon. In Elko, Lincoln Graves, KUTV 2 News.
Today, this stopped Megan Duff, who lives in Sugar House and wanted to drop a letter in a mailbox cold.
So I thought maybe I'll poke down, see if I can get across.
But for the aftermath of rain, sleet, and snow and a clogged drain, not going to happen today.
Not today.
Was the city late to the party in addressing this?
Absolutely not.
Laura Briefer, City Public Utilities Director, says the city relied on hydrology and engineering, and the calculation showed the Emigration Creek drainage could handle flows even with big spring runoff.
What we didn't anticipate was that the flood control facility in Wasatch Hollow Park would get an obstruction in it, so a blockage.
That drainage system is a county drainage system, as I understand it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
County Emergency Management Director Clint Meekum says county crews have been clearing debris where streams run. Did you miss it?
So the county flood control crews have got 600 miles of creek to deal with, and they have been in that area cleaning out debris as best they can.
Meekum says a debris clearing team was here just hours before the flood.
When they finally determined it was plugged, it was deep enough that it was almost impossible to get to, under 25 feet of water.
The city and county say they've been proactive, checking other drains now, City Creek among them. That may be the next canyon to shed water quickly. The county says it's hired more people to scoop rocks and tree limbs from streams. We asked to speak today to Salt Lake City and County Mayors Mendenhall and Wilson. We wanted to talk about flooding and the steps to prevent it. Their spokespersons told us they were booked today. By Friday, Scott White had no clear sense of all that government had done to fight floods, but he knew, and his back reminded him, he had filled nearly 75 sandbags for his low-lying property.
So I'm going to do what I can do for my home, and that's all I can do.
There are roughly 190 firefighters working to put out the Monroe Canyon fire up in this ridgeline today. You can see just how smoky and hazy this whole horizon is. And I'm told in addition to the red flag conditions, the firefighters are dealing with steep and rocky terrain. The Monroe Canyon fire has burned 5,028 acres and is 0% contained. Fire crews are focusing on structure protection, as that is all they have the resources to do. Monroe Meadows, Manning Meadows, and Maggleby areas have been evacuated. And the Sevier County Emergency Manager told me on the phone this afternoon they're also evacuating the Elk Estates area northeast of Maggleby. Now, despite the dramatic view of the fire, people in the town of Monroe say this is nothing new for them.
Watching it has been different because you could literally see it moving. So you could see the flames from like here, and then it would be like 30 seconds later and they're jumping to here. So that part, that's a little nerve-wracking to watch, but they really do know what they're doing up there.
The Great Basin Team 3 will be taking command of this fire tomorrow. Officials say the fire zone and evacuation area will be expanding tonight. In Sevier County, Natalie Wattis, KUTV 2 News.
I'm along Mill Creek right now. This is the creek that saw that flash flood last year. If you look across the bank, you still see debris in the trees. It shows you how high the water got. It completely flooded up the creek campground right here. Campers had to escape from their flooded tents in the darkness, and it was unclear if this place would ever come back.
Last year, the memories were still fresh for Ariel Atkins, then co-manager of Up the Creek Campground.
Had it happened in the middle of the night, we really worry about what that would have looked like. We're not sure people would have gotten out.
The Moab flash flood had risked the lives of campers and decimated the campground. It was closed for the season and the future was murky. But today,
we're giving it a try for this year, but it's going well enough that I think we're going to continue on.
It's open again. Kirsten Peterson and David Wilson are its new managers. They chose to take on the task partly because of the campground's history.
We get all these people who have been coming here for 10, 20 years.
The reopening has come with new safety guidelines from city officials.
The city forced us to kind of really change the footprint because half the campsites used to be a lot closer to the creek.
Kirsten and David also tell me the city wanted managers close to the campground at all times. They live next door so they can respond to emergencies quickly. Just yesterday, a smaller flash flood swept through Mill Creek.
I had a mark on the creek that I was watching. I was like, okay, if the water's higher than that mark, I'm gonna help these people move their stuff very quickly.
It was a flood more typical of what the town sees regularly, but Kirsten says last year opened everyone's eyes, including public safety officials who were monitoring things closely yesterday.
You know, it was great to get warnings on our phones and have a policeman, coming through to warn people. I mean, we were already, basically here when he arrived, but just to be able to work with the local safety officials to make sure that we are doing everything we can.
Another safety measure required by the city, these picnic tables need to be secured a bit more. They're pretty heavy, but you can still see a few of these downstream crumpled and mangled from when they were washed away last year. In Moab, Lincoln Graves, KUTV 2 News.
Fire crews spent the day getting the 4-alarm fire under control.
No one's been injured.
The building holds special memories for some.
My father started a candy company, Maxfield Candy Company, on the location.
Built in the 1940s, Neil Maxfield knew the building better than most.
What are some of your memories in that building? What, as a kid?
Oh, it was always fun to go to the candy factory.
His family sold the facility years ago. It's been vacant and attracting the wrong people. Neighbor Doug Flagger says this isn't the first time firefighters have been here.
This is the third fire here that we've had in the 8 years that I've lived in the neighborhood.
He says it's grown to be a safety concern.
It's really kind of become a hot spot for people to, do drugs and try and get out of the weather.
How have you been addressing this concern?
Yeah, we, as neighbors, we report it to the city, we report it to police, but it's hard, it's private property.
He says it's up to the owners who are out of state to manage this property.
This is one of the buildings we would like to see actually torn down in our neighborhood because it is such a problematic building.
I reached out to Salt Lake City Mayor's office about how they're addressing this issue. I did not hear back, but I wanted to ask the following questions. What are you doing to keep this area safer? How are you addressing neighbors' concerns? What can be done to prevent people from breaking into vacant buildings?
It could be a full-time job for somebody trying to protect it and make sure that there aren't nefarious things going on there.
Fire officials tell me the growth of this fire has been primarily to the east towards Circleville and Junction. And you can see behind me right now, the western flank of this fire has been very active all day with large smoke plumes and quickly spreading flames. Fire crews are focused on creating fire line on all sides of the fire and doing structure protection on the eastern side of the fire. Doing everything from cutting down trees to putting sprinklers on roofs and even wrapping some buildings in foil. Winds are expected to increase, and we did see some sporadic rain and lightning on the ridge.
I was just leaving my office Monday afternoon at 3:30. So what is that? Just short of 3 days ago. And I saw the first plumes of smoke just coming out of the Beaver Canyon. I looked at my son and said, oh no. But at that point in time, of course, none of us in our wildest dreams, we always knew this would be a possibility, but none of us really thought that it would be like this.
The mayor says not only are they worried about loss of property in the mountain, but also the floods that may come after and the possible hit to Beaver's tourism industry in the aftermath of the blaze.
From 3:30 Monday afternoon until, say, 3:30 yesterday, it was like end of days type of stuff. But we have good partners, and the people who live here are the best that I know, and we'll be okay. We're gonna keep moving forward.
A structural assessment team was put in place today, but as of now, we have no new information on the extent or scope of the damage. Reporting in Beaver, Natalie Wattis, KUTV 2 News.
A lot of people worried about how extensive